But after some thought and reflection, repeating things over.
Hey everyone, I am back and today I'm going to be doing the perfect palette tag. And I know I am a little late on this. Most people have already done this tag in the past few weeks, but I am going to be doing it today and I'm just happy to get a chance to sit down and do it because it's such a fun tag and I love hearing people talk about what their favorite palettes are and which ones maybe they regretted getting. I just think it's helpful to other people to kind of get a feel for which ones are the absolute most loved and which ones people are kind of saying, yeah, I bought it and I kind of wish I didn't. I am going to be tagging a few people below who I haven't seen do this tag yet that I would like to see. So be sure to check the info box below to see if I've tagged you. And let's go ahead and get started. The first question in the tag is which palette has the best packaging? And I gave this little thought and I have to say that I find that the Lorac Pro has the best packaging. The reason for this is because I love how sleek and slim it is. It's easy to travel with, throw in your purse, to store. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And I just also appreciate in the packaging how they laid it out with the top row being all mattes and the bottom row being all shimmers. I'm not the most organized person. I'm not very like type A personality. So normally I wouldn't be like, oh, I love that they're separate. But in this case I do. I just think, I don't know. I just like it. So I definitely think this is the palette I have that has the best packaging. Next is best color payoff. And I have two that I want to feature here. And one is kind of ironic because it's one, well, you'll see later. But the first one I want to mention is my Naked One palette. A lot of people are saying that the Naked palettes are their palette that has the best color payoff. And I have to agree. I would say pretty much all these shadows, the consistency, the pigmentation, how well they blend, all of that is amazing. Of course, I think within all the Naked palettes, there's sometimes one or two colors that fall a little short, but for the most part, Urban Decay eyeshadows have really, really good pigmentation. So I'm gonna have to say my Naked palette for sure. And then the second one I want to mention really quickly that has really, really great color payoff is the Balm's Shady Lady Volume 2 palette. And it has a nice variety of all shimmery and satin colors in it, but the color payoff on these is amazing. So if you are looking for shadows that are really buttery and have really great color payoff, I would check out the Balm as well as the Naked palettes. For my most versatile palette, I'm gonna have to go back again to the Lorac Pro palette. Now this is gonna be obviously its second kind of win for the categories so far. And this palette is not perfect, I will admit that, but I think it does have the most versatility. Like I said before, it has a whole top row of matte shades as well as a whole bottom row of shimmer and satins, and I just think you can create a lot of different looks with this palette. There is a kind of reddish copper color, a deep purple, some lighter shades, and if you are someone who wants that versatility, I think this is a great one to check out. I will mention the thing that bugs me about this a little is that it does have quite a bit of fallout. So definitely, you know, keep that in mind when using it, but the color payoff, the packaging, the versatility is all good with this palette. Now, the best palette for traveling, I'm kind of torn on this one because I could easily say the Lorac Pro palette again because it's so slim and it has that versatility. But one that I think is really great for traveling for myself is the Naked Basics palette. Of course, it's pretty basic, so depending on what you're traveling for is going to obviously play into this, but it has very sturdy packaging and I just find this so easy to quickly put together a look. It also has some darker shades so you can get yourself a little more of a dramatic look if you do go out. So I think this one is really great for traveling. And then I'm actually going to throw this one in here because it's a newer one that I've purchased and I do think that the packaging makes this really great for traveling. And it is the Laura Mercier Artist Palette for Eyes. It's kind of padded. It's pretty compact. You can see against the palm of my hand. It's not too big and it has some really, really beautiful colors in it. And I just think that this is another palette that would travel really well. If you're a person who really likes your purpley tones, then this one is for you. And the palette has a really nice big mirror on it. And yeah, I just think this one would also be really nice to travel with because of the packaging and the color selection in it. Now for my biggest regret, in terms of palettes I don't really have one that I feel very regretful about. I like them all. The one I will mention, which was also featured for Best Color Payoff, so it's ironic, is the Shady Lady Volume 2 palette. And the only reason I'm putting this in this category is because I don't use it that often. It's not the greatest palette to complete an all-in-one look because there are no matte colors. So when I use this, I have to reach for another palette as well. And I don't know, I just don't find myself using this that often. So I guess it's a regret in the sense that maybe there could have been something else I could have purchased that I would have gotten more use out of, but it is a really beautiful palette and I don't really regret it. I just feel like out of the ones I have, I'm gonna have to say it's this one. For best color names, I feel like I don't really have a palette that has color names that make me think like, wow, good job with those names. But the one I'm gonna pick is actually from the Balm, and it is the Meet Matte Nude palette. And so all the shades in this palette are names of different mattes. So you have Matte Johnson, Matte Hung, Matte Abdul, Matte Rosen, Matte Malloy. So I mean, I just think that's kind of cute that they named all the shadows after someone named Matte, because of course they are all matte shadows. And yeah, I just think that's cute names. Really quickly for least used and most used palette. My least used right now is actually my custom MAC palette that I have. I love MAC. I love MAC eyeshadows. It's just that, I don't know, for some reason, I don't find myself reaching for these as much as some of my other palettes. So yeah, for some reason that I can't really explain, this is just my least used at the moment. For my most used palette, I can easily say that even though it's a little boring, it is the Naked Basics palette. I always highly, highly recommend this to people because I think it's so versatile and that so many people can get a lot of use out of this. And I find myself using this most days to throw together a quick look. For most loved, I mean, isn't that the same as most used? I feel like maybe a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to Naked Basics and say that this is my wait, where am I? Most loved, used? These questions are, they're repetitive, aren't they? Anyway, the Naked Basics palette is my most used and most loved, I think, at least within the past few months. And then because it has come up a lot, I also really do love the Lorac Pro palette. So this is another one that gets a lot of love from me. The final question is my desert island palette. So that means if I was trapped on a desert island and could only bring one palette with me, which one would it be? Now I'm gonna just venture out there and say that if I was trapped on a desert island, I probably wouldn't be looking to do too many crazy makeup looks. So I am going to have to go back to my favorite Naked Basics again. I just think, you know, it could fit in my pocket. It's very wearable. I love it so much. And yeah, I think that's all I need on the desert island. So that is going to be it for this tag video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and liked seeing some of my favorite, most used, most loved palettes. And of course, I would love to hear what palettes are your favorite. So leave a comment below and let me know which ones you love the most, or maybe your biggest regret palette, because I'm always interested in hearing that. And again, check the info bar below to see if I've tagged you. As always, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. I love it when you do, and I will see you all soon with a new video. Bye!